Hi guys, welcome back to the part 2 of creating a productivity desk setup. So last time we talked about the fundamentals of setup, which is the desk, the frame, and the drawer organizers and things like that. But today we're going to go through, what's the next layer after that. So once you got your fundamentals in place, where do we go from there on? So if you haven't watched the part 1, I strongly recommend you do. I'll leave the link in the description down below. So watch that first and then come back to this video. But if you have already watched that, then let's talk about the next step now. So what do you actually need to place on your desk after you got your desk sorted? Okay, first thing is a monitor stand, and you've probably seen a lot of these out there, and they're rightly so. They're quite good and they help you organize your desk in a better way. So before I just had a monitor and then I had my speakers. But what I found that, I still had few things here and there, like, it could be a remote control for a light, it could be my headphones, or it could be, my remote for my Apple TV, anything. These random things that I do need on every single day, but they're just there in front of me. I didn't want that to happen. I want them to hide away somewhere, not in the drawer, but just in reach. So if I were to go on a call, I can just quickly grab my headphones and that's it. If I turn on my Apple TV, I can quickly grab the remote and done. If I have to, use a microphone to record a video because I just had a thought about something and had an idea in my head, I can go grab and get it done. So for that reason, there are certain things you need to do on your setup to make sure it doesn't look messy. And that's where the monitor stand comes in. It creates a layer on your setup. So once you have your desk, then you have another layer of this monitor stand, which stays quite at the back of your setup, so it doesn't create a lot of clutter. And then you put your monitor on top of that. So I would recommend definitely adding a monitor stand. You can buy loads of these in the market, but again, I recommend matching it to your desktop itself and get a good quality one because you're not going to replace these very often. Unfortunately, they are very expensive. Often they range from 150 to 300 pounds, and sometimes they're even more expensive than your actual desk if you've done a DIY like I did, which is frustrating, but here we are. I mean, you're not going to buy these very often. As I said, you buy it once and that's it. So just get one which is good for you. Again, going back to the same thing I said in the first video, make sure you have your requirements and based on that, you get the right size for you. Don't get too small. It looks like a bit like a lollipop, don't get too small. Get a good decent size one that can take your monitor, but then also you can place a few other things on it. So it just makes it nicer and creates that extra layer. Now we can move on straight to the next category, which is a tech on your setup. Okay, before you even start thinking about what tech do you need on your setup, you need to go back to the part 1 first step, which is requirements. So you need to start writing down, what is that you'll be using? Will you be using a laptop or would you be using a PC or a Mac Studio? Because it changes completely. Because if you're using a Mac Studio or a PC, you have a desktop solution. If you're using a laptop, you have a laptop connected to a monitor to create a desktop solution. 2 different ways of setting your workflow. And it's really important to answer that question right at the beginning because if you're using a laptop, you probably need a docking station. However, if you're going with a Mac Studio or a PC, then you probably don't need a docking station and you can just do one cable connect to monitor and then everything else connects to your Mac Studio or your PC. So it's really important to answer the question at the right beginning of creating your tech setup on your desk, that what is your core setup? Is it a desktop or is your laptop being created or extended to a monitor? So each of these categories are very important and I've used both of these. For me, I like to separate my laptop and my desktop, but that's my preference and not everyone would be comfortable doing that. And also, my laptop was pretty old, so I didn't upgrade my laptops. Instead of upgrading my laptop, I actually got the desktop because I needed more power. And for me to get that same amount of power on a laptop would have been very expensive. So that's the honest reality or truth why I actually got Mac Studio rather than a MacBook Pro. But your case might be different and everyone has their own preferences. But the point is make sure you have that requirement outlined from the get-go. Because once you've done that, then you need to create your shopping list. Okay, do you need a docking station now? Okay, which docking station? Does it have to have 2 monitor support or more than 2 monitor support? How many HDMI cables you need? How many USB-C ports you need? Do you want it to be all in one, as in you should also charge your devices? Do you want it to be plug and play? So when you connect just one cable to your laptop and that's it. So, and should it also charge your laptop at the same time? So once you have all these things written down, and don't spend too much time, don't get it overcomplicated. For me, if you have a laptop setup, you should be looking for a dock that can connect up to 2 monitors minimum. You can charge your laptop. You can also connect some accessories to your laptop. That's it. You don't need to overcomplicate it. If you have a desktop like a Mac Studio, then you're fine. You don't need a docking station. If you have a Mac Mini, you might do. So once you know which setup you're going for, then you need to shop for a monitor. Now, I would always recommend you to go for a monitor that has an inbuilt docking station. What that means is that has an inbuilt, USB-C, USB-A port, so you can connect different accessories to it. Because you can never have enough ports, last thing you want to do is to connect different dongles to your PC or your Mac Studio. So if you have a monitor that has extra ports, it just helps you reduce the clutter. And a lot of the time, for example, your webcams or your the lights on top of your monitor bar lights, or any ambient lighting that needs a USB power, can just connect to a monitor rather than connect it to your laptop docking station or your Mac Studio. So I found that a lot of these tech accessories that don't require too much power, but I don't also want to connect them to my main computer, I just connect those to my monitor. So that's why I said go and shop for a monitor that has a docking station. The one I'm using is from Dell. I think it's about 5 or 6 years old now. I'm due for an upgrade, so watch out for that. But if you're looking for a monitor, try to go for one that has this inbuilt dock. In terms of, should you go for a gloss or a matte finish, it's your preference. But I found for work, it's best to go with a matte finish. I don't personally prefer a glossy finish monitor for work. I do prefer it for gaming, but not for actual work. But again, it depends on your preference. So make sure you try both of these in the stores and see which one you like. Even if you're not sure, just get both of them, try them at home, and if you don't like one, you can always return it, right? So you have that extra leeway when you order things online. So try it out and see which one you like. And if you want my recommendation, I would say go with the matte finish because it's also less reflective and it's really good for if you're working a lot on, Excels and PowerPoints. Again, it depends on what you're working on. If you're working a lot on photo editing, video editing, then maybe glossy one is a better one. But again, it depends on your requirements. So once you got your monitor set up, done, then the next thing you need to move on to is, do you need like a keyboard and a mouse, or are you going to use the one from your laptop? Again, if you have a laptop LED display or laptop LED setup, then you probably don't need one. But if you have a desktop LED setup, which is like a Mac Studio, you 100% need a keyboard and a mouse. And then you move on to that section. Okay, now talking about keyboard and mouse. If you are creating a Mac LED setup, I 100% recommend the Apple Magic keyboard and the trackpad because they are so well integrated into the ecosystem. It just makes the workflow seamless. So if you are in a Apple ecosystem, don't even think about getting a mechanical keyboards because I don't find them very productive in my experience. I think they're good, they look good, they feel good, they sound amazing. But when it comes to just getting things done at 90 miles, 100 miles an hour, you need a keyboard that's functional. It's got Touch ID, so your payments are done, your logins are done quickly. I'll use Passwords app to log into different, websites and emails. I can't just be always typing things. So the Touch ID is exceptionally useful at that time. So yeah, just go with the Apple Magic Keyboard. That's my recommendation, 100%. Trackpad is really good as well because it just helps you. It's like having a canvas in front of you, a touch screen. And I have both. I have a mouse and a trackpad, but I found myself using a trackpad more and more. So again, if you're an Apple ecosystem, it's no-brainer. If you're outside of Apple ecosystem, then maybe a mouse and a keyboard is sufficient. But yeah, again, if you have a laptop LED setup, then you won't need all that. Maybe just a mouse. But when you have a desktop LED setup, then you definitely need those accessories. Okay, so that's it for part 2. We're going to discuss more things in part 3. But in today's video, I wanted to cover the core aspect of your setup when it comes to tech. So we talked about the monitor stand, which was the last bit of furniture left from the previous video. And then we touched on the monitor. We touched on what accessories you need and what docking stations you might or might not need, depending on your preference. In next episode, we're going to talk about small piece of tech that make all the difference, that help you stay at your desk whilst you might need to, let's say, charge a device, or you need to watch something at the same time and leave something on standby, or have a quick access to a digital notebook. So whatever that is, there are a few essentials, in my opinion, that you need on your setup that needs to be accessible. And that is what we're going to cover in part 3. So if you like what you watched today, make sure you like and subscribe. If you haven't watched the part 1, still go back and watch it. But if you have already watched the part 1 and this was your part 2, I hope this was also helpful. In the next episode, in the next part, we're going to talk more about these extra little things that makes all the difference. But till then, take care of yourself and I'll see you in the next one.